हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू चेसिंग द टारगेट। आज मैं लेट नहीं हूँ, आज मुस्तफा भाई लेट है, बट या ही विल बी जॉइनिंग अस शॉर्टली। ही हैड सम वर्क दैट ही हैड टू अटेंड टू। काफी ज्यादा क्रिकेट हो रहा है आज। आई मीन डिस्पाइट नॉट द लेवल ऑफ बॉर्डर गावस्कर, बट डेफिनेटली वार्म अप मैचेस चल रहे T20 वर्ल्ड कप वुमेन्स के। साथ पर साथ वेस्ट इंडीज जिम्बाब्वे भी हो आता है, एंड वी हैव द ऐसे T20 मैचअप दैट गोइंग टू बी कमिंग अप शॉर्टली. We will be discussing key battles like we have been since yesterday. कल जो हम की battle discuss कर रहे थे, of the fast bowler, we discussed Mohammad Siraj, we discussed Mohammad Shami, we discussed Pat Cummins, and we discussed Scott Boland, because obviously latest जो news थी हमारे पास कि Josh Hazelwood will not be able to play the match due to an injury. वो confirm हो चुकी है कि he will be definitely missing out the first test at Nagpur. So that's why we had discussed Scott Boland, and we along with everyone else, mostly in the news that has been circulating around, वही बोल रहे हैं कि Scott Boland would be the most probable to replace him. Coming to today, we will be discussing the battle of spin it to win it. Hopefully, we will spin it to win it from an Indian perspective. India will be able to, uh, as they have been, since the past Border-Gavaskar Trophy or the Indian Australia series, rather, we have been, been very spin dependent. Obviously, the tracks in India, they are mostly rank tunnels hote hain, ya, ball spin hoti hai. So it will be a very key thing that we have the likes of Ashwin, we have the likes of our other spinners there like Akshar Patel and whoever is there in our squad, which we will be discussing soon. I will just be waiting for my friend. Till then, I will be discussing with you guys West Indies versus Zimbabwe. Obviously, काफी ज़्यादा बारिश हो रही है West Indies Zimbabwe के मैच में. तो just to give you a little bit of heads up कि क्या हो रहा है. First day 3 चल रहा है. This match started on February 4 for people who have not been watching this. 447 for 6 पे declare कर दिया था West Indies. We had a double hundred from Tangerine चंद्रपाल, जो बेसिकली शिव चंद्रपाल जो पहले के क्रिकेटर थे वेस्ट इंडीज के, उनके रिलेटिव हैं. एंड Tangerine managed to make 207 of 467 balls. I mean 500 से ज्यादा मिनट खेला. I mean रह रह के सो गए होंगे वहाँ पे पूरे प्लेयर. बट phenomenal double century is a double century given the context. अभी जो वेस्ट इंडियन क्रिकेट की मसलियात है कि they're not having fixated board, नहीं उनके पास अच्छे खासे प्लेयर्स नहीं है, अच्छे खासा एक स्पिरिट नहीं है कैंप में, बट उसमें भी आके आप एक डबल सेंचुरी मार रहे हैं, तो काबिल तारीफ की डेफिनेटली बात है. एंड ही हैज बीन वन वेस्ट इंडियन प्लेयर दैट हैज बीन स्टनिंग. अगर अपन ऑस्ट्रेलिया टूर की बात करते हैं तो टैंजरीन वाज वन ऑफ द गुड प्लेयर्स अलोंग विद ब्रेथवेट एंड काइल मायर जैसे प्लेयर्स हैं उनके पास. काफी है आर्सेनल में अपने, काफी अपने टीम स्ट्रक्चर अगर आप देखो अच्छे खासे तगड़े खिलाड़ी हैं, बट आई थिंक खाली बोर्ड के जो प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं वो जल्द से जल्द अगर क्लियर हो. एक शेम दिखता है क्योंकि वेस्ट इंडीज जब क्रिकेट हम देखते हैं, क्लाइव लॉयड, विव रिचर्ड्स, गारफील्ड सोबर्स, ब्रायन लारा, ऐसे एलीट लोग दिमाग में याद आते हैं कि वेस्ट इंडीज क्रिकेट में होपफुली इन लोग की प्रॉब्लम्स तो सॉल्व हो जाए. बट या तो टैंजरीन चंद्रपाल में 200 मारा था, एंड क्रेग ब्रेथवेट जो कैप्टन है उनके वेस्ट इंडियन स्क्वाड के 182 मारा. So they managed to put up a score of 447 declared on the day 3. ये टूर हो रहा है बुलेवायो में, जिम्बाब्वे में. अगर जिम्बाब्वे की बॉलिंग की बात करें, ज्यादा कोई कुछ कर नहीं पाया, बट पिक ऑफ द बॉलर वाज वन यंगस्टर 25-year-old Brandon Mahuta, who picked up 5 wickets in 41 overs and just gave 140 runs, and his economy was 3.41. यंग बॉलर है, अंडर 19 जिम्बाब्वे की टीम में थे ये. ऑल्सो he's been playing a lot of domestic cricket, first class cricket, काफी तजुर्बा है इनको, तो it was good to see him get 5 wickets. And when Zimbabwe started their innings, they were already on 114 for 3. 3 विकेट घटक चुके हैं इन लोगों के. इसमें इनोसेंट काइया बुल के प्लेयर अभी 59 पे डटे हुए हैं. कैप्टन ग्रेगर वाइन जस्ट गॉट आउट आई थिंक, एंड या द मैच हैज बीन, आई मीन स्टंप्स हो चुके हैं वहां पे. तो जिम्बाब्वे का एंड ऑफ द डे स्कोर है 114 फॉर 3. दे ट्रेलिंग बाय 333 विद अ डे 4 एंड अ डे 5. सो मोस्टली दिस इज हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स अ ड्रॉ. ऐसा लग रहा है कि ड्रॉ हो सकता है अनलेस वेस्ट इंडीज जल्दी बैटिंग करके दे पुट ऑन a decent amount of a target. 133 133 है अभी उनका ट्रेलिंग स्कोर. So maybe if they could get everyone out in 300 and then add another 100 and 200 in day 4, and maybe they could just put the pedal to the metal. So you never know. टेस्ट मैच की ये काबिलियत है कि कभी भी चेंज हो सकते हैं कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द गेम. अगर आप एक अच्छे दिन पे 10 विकेट लेने, you just need 10 to 11 good deliveries, right? And the game can change and West Indies could probably get a result. But more or less अगर ऐसा जिस तरीके से अभी सिचुएशन है, डे 3 खत्म हो चुकी है, and they are trailing by 333 with the loss of just 3 ticket on 113. It is more or less looking towards a draw. So that was the news from. I think speaking of the women's cricket, World Cup चलने वाला है from the 10th of February. Very excited for that. T20 अभी under 19 हाल में इंडिया जीत चुकी है, which was a very big achievement for the women's department of cricket. अंडर 19 तो हम जीत चुके, बट 2020 वर्ल्ड कप वुमेन्स का अगर हम सीनियर में देख रहे हैं, अभी वार्म अप मैच चल रहा है एंड वी आर 25 for 4 right now. Australia is sort of killing us at this point of time. From an Australian perspective, अगर मैं देख रहा हूँ 129 ही बनाए हैं ये लोग. Beth Mooney and Alicia Gardner were the only two people who sort of stepped up. ज्यादा कोई कुछ नहीं करे, but the last के जो 10th विकेट पार्टनरशिप है, यहाँ पे भी आई थिंक टेल की इश्यू शुरू हो गई. जो हम मेन क्रिकेट में देख रहे थे, यहाँ पे भी शायद टेल की इश्यू खुदा ना खास्ता नहीं शुरू होना. बट या इट वाज दैट पार्टनरशिप इन द एंड फ्रॉम Georgia Wareham and Jess Jonasson, जो 32 Georgia made 32 and just made 22. So together they managed to put a 50-run partnership in the end, about 54 to 55 runs towards the end, and they managed to get. So they were 79 for 8, and these together took it to 129-run stand, which sort of gave it away. Pick up the bowler. There were a lot of fun. Shikha Pandey bowled 3 overs, got 9 runs and 2 wickets. We had Pooja Vastarakar, who got another 2 wickets for 16 runs in her 3-over spell, and Radha Yadav, who was 3 overs, 22 runs into it. So it was a combined effort, but very disappointing to see that 50-over partnership in the end. Jab up 79 for 8, so you can't just give away 50 runs, and that's what happened. Right now we're 25 for 4, where we've lost Smriti Mandhana, we've lost Shefali Verma, we've lost Jemima Rodriguez. So these are the ones, and we just lost Richa Ghosh as well. So 25 for 4 का score चल रहा है. Harleen Diol and Yastika Bhatia are on strike. Hopefully we can manage to get something over there. But apart from that, दूसरे मैचेस जो वार्म अप के चल रहे हैं और 4 चल रहे हैं साइमल्टेनियसली. आई थिंक अभी 3 चल रहे हैं. The other ones are, that's England women's, who have scored 247. Kiask whatever. South Africa right now is 157 for 6. It's a very good battle. अगर आप देखो 247 in a T20 game is something very shocking to see. Even men's game में आपको ज़्यादा ये score नहीं दिखता. So you had Sophia Dunkley, who scored 59. You had Alice Capsey, who scored 61. Nat Scovier Brunt, who scored another 50. So it's been a very very phenomenal performance. And a warm up match में अगर आप ये करें तो hopefully main match में you become, आप एक थ्रेट बन के आ जाते. England has always a strong squad in any format of the game. Men's में आप ले लो, women's में भी अब they are having, they came to the final in the under 19 as well. That was also a very big achievement. इसमें 247 दिए हैं साउथ अफ्रीका वुमेन्स को टारगेट. साउथ अफ्रीका में 157 for 6, 91 runs required of 39 balls. Interesting it, the fight back is good. Chole Tryon had a 65 or 23 for South Africa. Chloe Tryon has made 65 and she just got out. But yeah, I mean, phenomenal 247 run stand from England women, but equal, commendable effort right now from the South Africa women. 86 of 37, 162 मार चुके हैं. So it is a good battle that's going on there. दूसरे मैचेस अगर हम देख रहे हैं, इट वाज द डार्बी बोल सकते हैं आप, ईस्ट वर्सेस वेस्ट पाकिस्तान. आई नो बांग्लादेश वर्सेस पाकिस्तान. बांग्लादेश में 100 for 7 है, पाकिस्तान is 57 for the innings break चल रहा है. But yeah, it has been going on as well, and New Zealand beating the West Indies women easily by 32 runs. So these are just a bit of an update. I am waiting for my guest camera भाई के लिए वेट कर रहा हूँ मैं technically, who will be showing on who. भाई का नाम लेते कि भाई आ जाते हैं. भाई ईद के टाइम में, भाई अभी आ गए हैं मेरे. ईद के टाइम तो सिर्फ एक ही भाई आते हैं. बट या इतनी बड़ी 200 रुपए की स्माइल मेरे भाई के मुंह पे है. अस्सलाम वालेकुम भाई. कहाँ है भाई?
वालेकुम सलाम. What's up, bro?
I'm good. I was just telling everybody that today we will be discussing about the spin battles. The Lions versus the Ashwins, and that battle, and Lions record versus Virat and Pujara has been phenomenal. We know the likes of even Ashwin's record versus Smith has been decent enough. I mean, it's more head to head with them. I was just giving a quick update on Zimbabwe and West Indies and the women's warm-ups that have been going on. India in a very tight spot right now. England managed to making 247 in a women's final, but South Africa equally giving it back. Too much दिख रहा है यार मेरे को. मैच अभी जो चल रहा है 157 for 6 चल रहा है वहाँ पे. 162 for 6 I think. And yeah, different matches चल रहे हैं. कल का अगर हम बात करेंगे मुस्तफा, just a quick because he is a sunriser, we got to talk about it. Henrik Klaas is 104 of 44, man. What are your thoughts? I was like bamboozled complete. कैसा ने इतनी जल्दी मारा? 200 plus का कुछ strike rate और 250 plus का strike rate.
क्लासन का बोल रहे?
हाँ,
आखिरी जबरदस्त बैटिंग करा. He's a sunriser, man. What a time to
कुछ
sign.
तो भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा मिलवा यार, मैंने कहाँ से मारा. And I'm excited to see this guy, man, in Hyderabad. What's he going to do?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly thought he's going to be the backup keeper, and they're going to start Glenn Phillips. But now he's fighting for a spot in the 11. It was a great innings. I watched that. He was just on form, playing his shots confidently, and he's a man in form as well. ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई एकदम से out of the blue 100 आया. He's been building this right, and he's looking in good touch. The timing is impeccable, and yeah, I was very happy with that. What about my man, my favorite player, man, my favorite player in the world? Tangerang Chandapal, baby.
Yeah,
That's
man,
it.
200, man. That guy was phenomenal.
What a
400
player.
like
What a player.
I was talking about the same thing just before you came in. Ke bhai, kuch bhi bolna, like given the
Bro.
context of this West Indies team right now, they've
The
broken down, and
Emperor.
this guy is
The
standing up.
Emperor, baby.
Hmm.
But honestly, jokes aside, he looked good in that Australia series. For me, he was one of the
Yeah,
best batsmen. Him and Brathwaite were the two good batsmen in that series, and he's carried that form on. And again, he took 19 balls to get off strike, and he took his time. He took his time, and then he accelerated, and he got to his double hundred with the six. So a
man,
very
that was
confident way to get to that double hundred. And yeah, I'm really proud of him, man. This guy, I'm a fan of Chandler Paul.
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, not as proud as the father probably, but yeah, it's a proud moment
yeah, of
for
course,
West.
man.
And given the situation, like I was saying, West Indian cricket टूटी हुई है यार. When you think of
Challenges,
West Indies,
yeah.
क्या किराक प्लेयर याद आते हैं यार, like Clive Lloyd. अब हमारे जमाने के तो नहीं थे, but like हमारे
Oh,
जमाने
याद
अगर अपन
आते हैं, याद आते हैं, क्या
नहीं, like
पता।
हमारे जमाने वही बार हमारे जमाने के भी अगर अपन ब्रायन लारा, कार्ल हूपर जो था, मर्विन डिलन, ऐसे कैसे कैसे like अपन को, you remember these
उन्हें उन्हें याद है,
matches.
कॉली मोर क्या नाम था उसका? कॉली
Corey
मोर
Collymore, yeah,
कॉली
Pedro Collins याद है, भयंगी आके इधर आंकते हैं, यो मतलब था, like so many epic battles. Tino Best, उन्होंने तो किताब लिखी है, कौन से बड़े उखाड़ है कुछ नहीं, क्रिकेट में किताब तो जरूर लिखी उन्होंने. तो I mean Tino Best and all of these guys, Fiddle Edwards, our Deccan Chargers. So I mean West Indies cricket, hopefully they come back and recover from whatever they're going through. But yeah, women's IPL में भी काफी updates आ चुके हैं मुस्तफा. Like if we talk about those updates very quickly, it's going to be starting I think in March 4th से लेकर 26th को शुरू होने वाला है women's का IPL, and the auction will happen I think 3 days after the start of this T20 Women's World Cup. So probably 13th March is what they're saying is that the auction is going to happen. 13th Feb, and 1500 entries हुए थे women's के. उसमें I think they just jotted down to 90 को छांट के निकाले. Maximum amount of players that you can purchase is I think 18 and minimum is 15. So yeah, your thoughts on that?
One thing I was upset about was that all the games are in Bombay, man. Like it's going to be in DY
Yeah,
Patel. I have nothing against Bombay. Don't get me wrong. It's just that जब पूरे matches दो stadium में रहते, फिर the pitches will start to deteriorate. It will become वो games थोड़ा सा one sided हो जाता. I don't know, man. I just wish that it was in different stadiums. The reason they did that, they're saying, is because it's just after the
logistical
T20.
issue.
Just after the T20 World Cup, they want everybody to come to one spot and organize. I just feel that it should have been in those prospective cities. Whoever owns that team, they should be in those cities. That's what I genuinely felt. So I was a bit disappointed with that. But apart from that, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good one, especially like you have the Women's World Cup going on at the same time. Right after that, you have the IPL. So the fever will be there. If India make it to the finals and win that World Cup, it will boost the Women's IPL as well. So it's exciting times for women's cricket for sure. 100%.
Getting another perspective in here. Hopefully we have Vinay bhai is going to be joining us, and he's joined us amma ekdam se aage. But yeah, very quick question, like for Vinay bhai and Mustafa, both of you, like the way I'm looking at it, I mean thoda T20 cricket galore nahi ho gaya, like in a situation like we just fitness the under 19. We were looking at it at a positive perspective, but now that I think about it, you have under 19 T20, now you have the women's T20, now you have the IPL T20, right? Yeah, difference only is कि भाई South Africa में था अभी India में. So do you think it will be running smoothly as it was in the under 19 and stuff, or do you think लोग हम बोर हो के बेजार अगर कितना T20 देखेंगे, कितना women's cricket देखेंगे बोल के?
For me, honestly, like they're trying to promote women's cricket, right? And they need to kind of equalize the men's system and the women's system. So I think that's why there are more T20 tournaments and stuff, and that's what gets you excited in terms of the power of the spectators, because everyone wants that slam bam go home kind of thing, right? And that's what T20 provides, rather than 50 overs and test matches and stuff for viewer perspective. And since
Right.
women's cricket is coming up as a perspective to for everyone to see, like every time we were only watching men's cricket and stuff, now women's cricket is growing, and this is probably the best platform for them to shine first and then come up,
Mhm.
and that's why they're probably going with this approach. However, in the long run, I think the cricket paradigm itself has shifted more towards the shorter formats rather than the longer formats. I think the niche of the longer formats has kind of curved down compared to the previous years and stuff. So it needs to change. Definitely, it needs to change. Definitely, the charm of cricket is the test matches. That's what gets a lot of cricket enthusiasts at least excited rather than the T20 cricket. But from a viewer perspective, I think the shorter formats is the way to go for everyone.
Yeah, but I guess it's also sad, like the bigger formats are losing their lucrativeness या जो भी बोला अपन ना कुछ. But अगर you have a good inning, like a good two tournaments like in Border-Gavaskar, and you had South Africa and Australia just now, I think we're getting it back. People are tuning in now. I think it's just about a time that these T20 things might need to step down a bit. मेरे लिए तो I don't know what Mustafa's take is on that.
My take is, bro, that's where the money is. Look at the broadcast rights for the women's IPL, man. It's like
950
rows
crores,
and
man.
rows. It doesn't matter if you're watching or not. They don't care if I'm watching or you're watching, or just they made that deal now, and people, and like you say that people will lose interest in everything, but there will be some interest. Otherwise, this money wouldn't have been invested, right? So the amount, first, if I look at the TV rights deals, then the teams being sold for that much money, I don't think they care about anything. They just want the game to go on. Whether that's the best thing for the game, yeah, that's a different question altogether. What I think about it, for me, I don't mind. Like I'm a test match enthusiast, much like I think both of you. But I don't mind, man. If it's cricket is there, I'll watch it, whatever it is. I'm not going to complain. It's good for content as well. We have different things to cover. It becomes difficult. It becomes sometimes boring. It becomes stressful. But who am
Like
I to
for
complain?
the question that I raised is because like we're gonna be seeing these players throughout in South Africa, right? And then again we're gonna see, like I don't see छठे में आएंगे थोड़े बहुत 90 1500 entries से 90 लोग दिखेंगे, but like सेम चीज चलने वाली ऐसा लग रहा है मेरे को. एंड आई थिंक मे बी अगर अपन रुका के करते थे, मे बी वुड दैट मेक अ डिफरेंस. आई एम जस्ट लुकिंग एट फ्रॉम अ व्यूअर्स
No,
पर्सपेक्टिव मे बी.
the timing is good because the Women's World Cup is right now. So,
I'm going to contradict on that point, Mustafa, because the timing can
yeah.
be the same way. Can be the same way how India had an IPL before the World Cup, and then they were very tired during the World Cup, and we noticed that. And that criticism came because of the IPL just before the World Cup in last year Dubai. Right, so the same thing can happen to the women's cricket as well. So I don't think the timing is right in terms of that, because immediately after the IPL is the World Cup as well. Yeah, for the players, yes.
Yeah, but I'm looking from the audience perspective. For example,
Audience perspective, yes.
If Lisa Healy and for example, Harmanpreet, they play in the same team in the IPL, but before that they get into a fight in the India Australia. People will watch the Ishant Sharma, Ricky Ponting stuff. So if I'm looking from that
commercially, yes, it's a better thing for women's cricket. However, it could also be a back effect for India in the long run if they perform well in the World Cup, because then there'll be criticism again on the IPL coming through.
बिल्कुल सही है. Fez, let's talk about today's topic, but before that, Vinay, I need you to pick up your phone or whatever device you have and send this link to all your friends and family, because you're a Jhadu and you know the whole of Canada and the whole of India, and make sure they like and subscribe and join us, because we're going to talk about Ashwin and Lyon. We're going to compare them in the test series, and you're a spin expert. तुम 32 खाते हैं, मगर you're a good bowler. You're a good spin bowler. I appreciate
also
that.
the highest wicket taker.
मतलब ये जो आप मिठे पान में एकदम खट्टा डाल दिया जर्दा, वो
देखो मेरा ये है कि जब भी अच्छा करता उन्हें तारीफ करता खुद की, तो मेरे को थोड़ा क्रिटिसिज्म भी करना पड़ता है. नो डाउट उन्हें बहुत जबरदस्त स्पिन बॉलर
वही
है.
तो दोस्त यारी यही होती है, जो कभी दूसरों की खुशी में खुश नहीं होते, लेकिन गम में ना बिल्कुल खुश हो जाते हैं.
मगर पिंडा तुम्हारे, मेरे को एक चीज समझ में, 3 ट्रॉफियां मिल रही है तुम्हारे को यार. मेरे को 3 ट्रॉफियां किस बात की मिल रही है?
then this tournament is controversial.
भैया मेहनत भी की है, 2-5 विकेट लिए और हाईएस्ट विकेट टेकर भी लिया, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
नहीं बिल्कुल भाई सब जने दो नोरा इन दुबई, सब जान दो नोरा इन दुबई. अरे यार now I know why Musti and Faiz are wearing the same shirt color. Oh, that's a coincidence. Probably the style is different. So as polo, I'm round neck, and Vinay is the gray area because he's a very nice t-shirt. Um, Sai bhai, thank you for joining
Shades
us.
of
Please
gray,
share this link. Please share, subscribe. Like I know आप कर चुके हैं, but आपके दोस्तों को and everyone. Sky ने Insta पे story डाला Red Ball का. Does he indicate about any debut? I mean, I probably it could be, but the way I'm looking at it, just because the test series coming, he's trying to
Yeah.
add his, social
Did
media
you
platform, the
already
Red
do the
Ball.
team? Did you already do your 11s?
No.
Not yet, not yet. We're going to do
Not
on the
yet.
preview day maybe, the one day before the thing, so that we have a better idea. Because abhi press conferences, I think Cummins ka hua hai, not Rohit Sharma. So we will, discuss the press conference also of what he and Andrew McDonald just had, I think yesterday. But yeah, definitely. So moving along to the topic of the day, hopefully we can start. We're going to be discussing Ashwin and then Nathan Lyon, and then comparison in different countries and how they've performed. So let's just quickly start off with Ravi Chandran Ashwin.
Wow. Vinay. 441 wickets. Bro, this guy in
Beast
India.
in India.
Yeah, in
Beast in
India.
India.
He's incredible in India. Just look at those numbers: economy, average, best figures. Everything is just world class. He has like 5 times the fifers Vinay has, and yeah. But like all jokes aside, in India he's a different
Isne
cricketer,
ka
right?
bhai 5 times the fifer.
But one thing, he doesn't have wickets in Canada.
Yeah.
In
I
Canada.
have actually, if you see my record in cricket clubs,
No
I have
chance.
probably around 300 wickets, so I'm not that far.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Vinay, my question to you is over here, because the series is in India, right? Like the discourse changes. Otherwise, Lion, we always say. I always say in all conditions, I would prefer him as my off spinner. But in India, the discourse changes. What I want to ask you is, do you think he's equally threatening to the right-handers as left-handers? Because left-handers, so he'll rip apart, but right-handers in India, because of that extra turn and that sharp bounce he gets in India, he becomes a menace for right-handers as well.
Are you talking about Ashwin or Lion now?
Ashwin.
Ashwin.
Sorry.
Ashwin. The thing is, when you compare Ashwin versus Lion, the main difference between both of them is the kind of arsenal of deliveries Ashwin has compared to Lion is different. Ashwin actually bowls carom ball. He bowls a straighter one. He bowls dusra. He bowls your leg spin. He bowls off spin. So he has much more variety compared to Lion. Lion is more of a conventional off spinner. He would do the straighter ones and the like he doesn't have too much of dusra deliveries in his arsenal, I think, but he's more of a traditional off spinner. And Ashwin has that knack of more bounce and everything compared to Lion. So in that regard, that's why I think in subcontinental conditions he's much more threatening than Lion. However, Lion is not a force to not reckon with because he has the control. He'll go every ball, he'll bowl in the same channel and everything. Ashwin mixes it up and he gets those extra bounce and everything based on the pitch. But Lion, in any pitch, he's much better in terms of a line and length. And that's where the main difference comes between Ashwin and Lion. However, in subcontinental conditions, any day Ashwin over Lion.
Can you
And the
tell
funny
me?
thing over here, one funny stat over here is Ashwin is the leading wicket taker in Nagpur. He has 19 wickets alone in Nagpur. Like he's the highest wicket taker there. So he
I
knows
think one
Nagpur
of
like
the
the back of
best
his hand.
versus South Africa जब खुद ये थे pitch पहले दिन से.
Yeah.
But my question is also on the release points of the two. Vinay, can you just describe that the release? Because I think Lion's release point allows him to get extra natural bounce, whereas Ashwin is more a bit round arm. I'm not sure exactly, but if you can just elaborate.
If you actually see Lion's action is much more straighter. So when you have a straighter arm, then you typically get more bounce because you're releasing on the top of your hand. However, Ashwin has the two kind of deliveries. When he's bowling top spin, he's trying to release it straighter. When he's bowling his regular conventional, he goes a little bit bent in terms of when he's bowling in these pitches and stuff. So that's why he's more of a sharp turner and then not getting too much. He plays with the batsman in terms of bounce and stuff. In Indian pitches, you're typically getting more wickets when you're actually bowling right around the good length area, which doesn't offer sometimes a lot of bounce and stuff. And that's why Ashwin gets a little more wickets than Lion at that point.
Yes, sir. Yes, Fez.
But yeah, Ashwin तो will be definitely the one to look out for 100%. तो भाई साहब की बात नहीं
He
आती यार,
has
लेकिन
few Kedar Jadhav deliveries also, by the way, Ashwin.
Yeah, below the sea
yeah.
level, Ashwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a leg
But
spin on
Ashwin
him.
का
That's good.
yeah, but one more thing apart from like the bowling perspective, even batting के साथ जो है अश्विन का game, that is also one thing. Like he just had a 50 in Bangladesh. He has saved India's butt on a कितने की बार उन्हें आके एंड में like 50 100 कुछ तो भी मार के बचा लेता. So that adds to his arsenal. Now the next spinner
By
इसके
the
बाद
way,
obviously from
Faiz, I don't know if you knew this, but when Ashwin started his career, he started as an opening batsman. For Chennai, he was the opening batsman. He wasn't a bowler. He became a bowler at a later stage.
Opposite to Steve Smith, huh?
Aye.
Yep.
Yeah. Now let's
क्या
talk
बात
about
है.
Nathan.
Now
Nice
we're
one,
gonna go
Ezra. Nice
talk about
one, Gary. Good bowling, Gary. Good bowling, Gary. Nice one, Nathan Lyon.
बगला खोल के खड़ा हुआ है ना अभी.
क्या खड़ा भाई?
बगला खोल के खड़ा हुआ है.
अच्छा.
460 wickets. More than
Oye,
Ashwin.
more than Ashwin.
But then matches also 30 more.
30 more matches. But the thing with this guy is I just like back him in all conditions. And in India, like you said, Vinay, he'll get that natural variation. He'll get like assistance from the pitch, so it makes him a menace anyway. The way he bowled in England, for example, in the Ashes or like in other conditions, I find him a menace more than Ashwin. But in Indian conditions, I still feel that like you mentioned about Ashwin, Ashwin has the edge over him. But this guy again, we saw in the 2013 series and 2017 series, he's improved with experience. I think in 2013 his average was around 30 in India, and 2017 his average is around 23, 24. So he's learned over the years. He understands the Indian conditions now, and he'll be a better bowler also in this series if he's fully fit.
I disagree with it a little bit. The reason is when he bowled in Pakistan has similar conditions to India, but he didn't pick that many wickets in Pakistan also. The problem I see with Ryan.
कोई assistance नहीं था
नहीं, उसके लिए नहीं. The reason why I'm saying this is for Lyon, he's bowling too much of a conventional spin, and that is easy to pick in Indian condition is what I feel. Right? When you come as an Ashwin or anyone, the way he's bowling it, the release points he has much more variation, and he mixes up the deliveries, and you never know which one is actually turning, which one is not. I think Lyon needs to adapt to that portion of it. I felt that Ashton Agar was much more potent than Lyon in these subcontinent conditions, because Ashton Agar or Swepson, for that matter, they actually bowl much flatter, and they try to spin the ball much more when not focusing on the release point that much with a straighter arm that Lyon has. And that's why I think those spinners are actually playing much better than Lyon at this point in subcontinent conditions. So maybe he has to change his approach a little bit. Yes, he'll get the bounce, but bounce playing in India, I felt is much easier for the Indian batsman rather than any other batsman.
It also depends on the pitch. If it's turning, like if it's not like the Pakistani wickets, then it's not an issue at all. I think Lyon will right up there. But what you talked about Agar, and I think that answers Punter's question, who's Aussie's second spinner. I think it'll be Agar as well.
No, I think it'll be Swepson. Swepson before Agar.
Okay. I think it'll be Agar just because he also gives you something with the bat.
See, when you play, even in Pakistan, Swepson was preferred over Agar. So I think he might, unless Cameron Green is not going to play, then maybe Agar comes in.
Cameron Green might not play because he's
if he's not going to play, Agar might come in because they need an extra batsman.
Agar will come in.
Cameron Green could come in also because they were
100% आएंगे.
Cameron की बात भी कर रहे थे, लेकिन उन्हें काफी इंजरी अपडेट अच्छी है उसकी कहते हैं, so he might play. You never know. Cameron.
If he doesn't play, that's what I said. If he doesn't play, then Agar will get a look in because of the batting.
I think Travis Head भी है जो ऑफ स्पिन डाल सकता. I think medium डालता पर लेकिन
वही थर्ड स्पिनर को ग्रूम कर रहे, थर्ड स्पिनर को ग्रूम कर रहे वो basically to someone like Head and Labuschagne to bowl as a third option if they need. But yeah, it'll depend on the batting because नीचे अगर तुम batting देखो उतना है नहीं. I know Cummins है, Hazelwood is not playing the first test, so Stark might get in, or it'll be Boland who will be coming. And if
Why is not playing first test?
Yeah, sorry, who's not playing?
Stark.
Stark and
Stark also not playing. So Boland is going to be there. So if they
Yeah.
go with the three spinner approach with Green not there, then most likely Agar is also going to play.
Yeah, Agar will need to be there for the batting, and I think again, depending on the pitch, if it's like a ranked runner, then Agar ghus jayega. Because like you said, what you mentioned was very good about the extra pace. It becomes difficult then when you get that natural variation off the pitch. It becomes difficult for the batsman to react. You don't know because you don't have that time, right? Whereas as a leg spinner, you'll have a bit more time for the batsman. Here you won't. So yeah, Vinay Singh Swapsen, I'll go Agar as the second spinner. Yes, Fez.
मैं ये बोल रहा था कि अब इतना अपन डिस्कशन करते हैं अश्विन एंड लायन के बारे में कि किधर सो वी जस्ट क्विकली डू लाइक लुक एट द कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस सो दैट एक बेटर पर्सपेक्टिव मिलता है कि रिलीज पॉइंट ये पॉइंट वो पॉइंट वगैरह के बाद चल रहे थे लेकिन देखेंगे अभी क्या क्या है दोनों के बीच
No, I was actually very interested in the release points because it does.
No, I mean in terms of we'll understand कौन से कंट्री में क्या है क्या कंडीशन में बेटर एक आइडिया मिलेगा.
लैग हो रहा भैया.
लैग आप हो रहे भैया नहीं. तो ये है दोनों के figures in the Border-Gavaskar and dismissal type. So based on this, you guys can like अपने नंबर में पढ़ लो.
भाई इसके स्टंप्ड कितने लाइन के?
17.
17 स्टंप्ड है. इसके
17 stump. Okay, I'll quickly run private. Ashwin के bowling है bold 91 है, caught 209 है, caught behind 41 है, LBW 95, stumped 13, hit wicket एक भी नहीं हुआ.
ये लाइफलॉन्ग है. सॉरी ये लाइफलॉन्ग वाला स्टैट है.
लाइफलॉन्ग वाला स्टार्ट है.
Not the top one, Vinay. Not the top one.
The top one is only Border-Gavaskar specific.
Yeah, that's why I was confused there.
Again, what interests me here is the bolds that Ashwin has. He has 91, which is almost double to Lions. Lion has 55 bold. So Ashwin attacking the stumps, Vinay, and also Indian conditions allowing that ball to rip in and knocking over the off-stump, middle stump. Lion has more caughts. Caught behinds are similar. LBW again. Ashwin has more. So I think it's also the conditions you play in that factors into these stats 100%. But
see, you can easily see the the dismissal caught. Lion has more because of the extra bounce he gets. In and around the pads. In and around the pads. That's why he gets more caught behind. And even the caught dismissals are more. But when it comes to conditions where Ashwin is bowling those different deliveries, he gets more LBWs and the bold. So I think that's where the difference comes in.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that because clearly it shows. And Ashwin, also Indian pitches, right? When Indian pitches also allow you to get those LBWs in and thing. But for
जडेजा और अक्सर माहिर हैं इस चीज में. तेज फेंक के नीचे बॉल रह जाती उनकी.
अगर अब अश्विन को अगर तुम बोल दिया स्वप्सन राइट लाइन के लिए तो with that would you go for Ashwin would you go Jadeja and Aksar or would you go Jadeja and Kuldeep assuming India will play three spinners?
Ideally, I would want Kuldeep to come in for Aksar. However, because Jadeja and Aksar are very similar, like there's not much difference in terms of how they perform and stuff. Of course, Jadeja has a big edge over fielding and bowling as well as batting over Aksar in terms of the overall player. But for me, I'll bring in Kuldeep just to get an extra variation compared to similar bowling how Aksar will do. However, in Indian pitches, Aksar has been more of a threat than Jadeja. So with that number 5 slot actually opening up, I think they might go Aksar and Jadeja and Ashwin to give that extra batting option rather than going with maybe a Sky for the first test.
Yes, sir. Punt racing, will we see Pujara padding against Lion? If he does, do you think he will survive with that strategy on Indian pitches? First for you.
Man, based on what Lion is against Pujara in India, he's much better than what he is in Australia, to be honest. Pujara ka, and against Kohli and Pujara, I think Pujara ko 5 times unhe out kar chuka Lion in the past, and he is phenomenal. So even if he tries to pad, I think psychological warfare and जिस तरीके से bounce मिलता है वो unexpected में कुछ जाके करेंगे and he might miss it and get. So you don't know with Pujara. ये बहुत ज़्यादा सोचता कभी-कभी so that factor.
Yeah, Lion getting that extra bounce, Pujara सिर्फ pad करता रहेगा, and then because of that he might get those bat pad chances that
Chances.
Pujara is susceptible at least with Lion
Yeah,
in that regard.
and
So
I was seeing the Cricinfo article where they were stating like Lion actually has a very good record against Kohli and Pujara in India as well. So
Yeah.
it will be a good battle to see. And from the other side, Ashwin against Smith. Smith does well against Ashwin in India better than in Australia, because I mean in the last series. In the last season in particular, Smith had a kind of an issue with Ashwin, but in general, Smith plays good Ashwin really well. He's one of those batters who gets dismissed, but he has a good average against him, good strike rate against him, and he plays the spinners pretty well, Steve Smith. So I think that's also going to be a very feisty battle, Ashwin versus Smith.
so for me in that regard, so I'll
For you
first
only,
talk
Steve,
about
or for you, for
I'll talk
you.
about Lion first. I'll talk about Lion first. The strategy that he applies against Pujara is the bounce, because Pujara is always trying to pad first.
Yeah,
So he's trying to get the bounce to get the pad bat. And for Kohli, he's actually going to bowl much fuller, because Kohli goes for those expensive drives,
yeah.
and he is trying to basically go through the batsman's drive and trying to get
Gate,
that
the
extra
gate.
spin.
He's going through the gate.
Extra spin, yeah, the dream ball for any off spinner. That's what
Yeah.
he's trying to. So those are the areas where Lion is going to target against Pujara and Kohli. When it comes to Ashwin against Smith, what he did better in the Border-Gavaskar Trophy is Smith has this tendency to paddle, and that's why he had a leg slip, and that's the area that he might target for Smith
Yeah.
again, because Smith is very strong on his offside as a cover drive and everything, and when you bowl full, what Ashwin typically does in Indian pitches and stuff, Smith is easily hitting him. So that's where I think the difference comes in. Ashwin needs to target his legs and get those caught behinds around the legs, but for Lion, he'll be bowling those deliveries. For Kohli, it'll be up front, and for Pujara, it'll be targeting the back pad.
फैज आपके लिए सवाल है मेरे को ये सवाल ये है कि who will play Rishabh Pant's role in attacking line, because we saw Rishabh Pant he takes that extra risk, he steps down the track, he'll play those big shots straight or square of the boundary, he'll play the lap and everything. Who will play that role to disturb line and length, because like Vinay mentioned, what Punter was asking, if you're going to keep padding him out, he will get the better of you at a certain point. So you will have to step out, or you'll have to go deep in your crease, do something different, and try to play with this line and length. So who will do that from India's perspective, if you see?
आइडियली अगर मैं पहले के उसमें आप पूछते थे बिफोर दिस थिंग, आई वुड से श्रेयस अय्यर, बिकॉज वही इंटेंट खेल रहा था आजकल. ही वाज लुकिंग टू कम आउट एंड अटैक, बट इंजरी के वजह से ही साइड लाइन. तो आई थिंक इसके वजह से स्काई विल कम इनटू दिस अटैक. आई सी स्काई कमिंग इनटू द टीम because he has that tendency to come out and attack from ball one. Maybe not as much as he does in a T20, but he will be still a threat in the paddles and this and that. He can sort of disturb the line and length. Comparing it to a KL Rahul or Kohli or these guys, ideally अगर ईशान किशन खेला तो maybe he could also, I could see him do it. आवाज चली गई क्या मेरी?
नहीं आ गया.
नहीं आ रही है.
आ रही है ना. तो ईशान किशन अगर खेला तो maybe he would be the one to do it, or I see Sky the one to do it. No one else is that attacking in a test match.
मेरे लिए it'll be a bit different if he's fit and he's playing. I'm assuming that he's playing. It's going to be Jadeja who's going to take the attack to line, because I feel that Shubman Gill is going to bat at 5. That's just what I'm going with. It's my opinion. I don't know if I'm going to be right. Lekin I think that someone like a Jadeja will take the attack to him and to try to put him off color. We don't know how fit Jadeja is, like how his timing is, how he's going to be batting, but I think he might play that role. Yeah. And if you notice in test matches, I mean, Vinay can also tell you, Jadeja does like to counter attack when he does come in, whatever the score is. We see a lot of partnerships with Rishabh Pant or with previously the other batsman. Jadeja comes in and he plays with the tail well as well, and the last batter he does play well and he likes to counter attack. So for me, I would go Jadeja. But if Sky plays, then you're right over there. Will KL keep? पिंडा भी नहीं कीपिंग करेंगे भाई. अगर उन्हें कीपिंग करा तो first test boycott करो. नहीं, I don't
like
think
if we're looking at Mustafa, the way you're saying Shubman might play, right? Then who will keep? It will be KL, right?
No, KS Bharat will keep.
KS Bharat
नहीं,
will.
then
KL Rahul कहाँ जाएगा ना?
Vinay, KS Bharat, man, come on, man.
Yeah, भाई.
Please, man, Vinay, please.
I am taking KS Bharat only in my team, but according to you,
is he coming in your team? That is the question.
See, who's your bowlers then? So what's your 11? If you have to talk that way.
Okay, let me go through the thing. KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Pujara, Virat
Pujara.
Kohli, that's four, right?
Yeah.
Number 5 is Shubman Gill,
Shubman
6 is
Gill.
Bharat. Then is 7 is Aksar,
Jadeja.
Ashwin.
No, Jadeja
Jadeja,
first.
yeah, Jadeja. 8 is Aksar, 9 is Ashwin, 10 is Siraj, 11 is Shami. That's it, baby. We got my team, bro. What are we saying? KL Rahul is not keeping, bro.
Yeah,
What we
KL Rahul is not keeping for me as well. But for me, I think KL Rahul plays for me in number 5, and Shubman Gill opens.
Yeah, you can
Reason
go that
is
way also.
the reason is KL Rahul is much more better as a against a spinner than the new ball. In the recent times, that's where he has struggled. So I think he should take that role of playing and anchoring the innings a little bit more, because Shubman Gill is someone who likes to attack from the ball one, and I think he'll be much better offering in the power play and in the starting overs rather than actually coming down the order.
The way I look at it, like I agree, you could go that way as well, and I have no argument in that way. But the reason why I'm putting, KL Rahul at the top is I just feel that the opening the batting might be a bit easier in these conditions. If it's ranked runners and everything, just have the new ball, the ball will go quickly to the boundary. You can get a quick start, get some confidence. Whereas if it was in England or Australia, I would go with your thing. But again, either way, like you're also right, your points are also right. We just have different perspectives. Captain. कौन है Fox posted Kohli, bro. So with Australia, there always focuses on Virat Kohli. That's where you're going to make the bucks. You're going to put Kohli on the poster, and you're going to put Kohli everywhere. When it's an India-Australia series, they always look at Virat Kohli. Australians
घर में कलेश डाल रहे हैं ना रोहित को.
हम लोग समझते कि लाइक हम लोग कोहली को इतना बड़ा चढ़ाते हैं. ऑस्ट्रेलिया आप वो देख लो सीरीज टेस्ट अमेज़न पे या कहीं भी देख लो, whenever Kohli is in town or Australia is playing against Virat Kohli, he's the main focus because he kind
also,
of plays.
the fact that Rohit Sharma खाली 2 टेस्ट मैच लीड करा इंडिया को till now, I think वो era का लेके उनला जरा उसको टैकल करने जा.
Yeah, even back in the day when Ganguly was captain and stuff, poster हमेशा सचिन का छिपता था. So it's always the big prize wicket who's always on the poster. So I think Kohli, irrespective of what form he's in or anything, he's always a big prize wicket.
Bilkul. I think Faiz, you've done a fabulous job on the graphics. So round of
there is one more thing that we have to discuss. Yeah, oh my god, round तो नहीं है, but yeah, it's alright. But
भैया हम दो ही है जो तुम्हारे लिए ताली बजाएंगे और कोई नहीं.
मजाक कर रहा हूँ. But yeah, this is last differential that we're seeing. We can see कि country wise, किधर कौन ज्यादा डॉन है, कौन ज्यादा बॉन्ड है. but yeah, Ashwin and Lyon की बीच के दूरियां क्या है, and yeah, yes sir.
साउथ अफ्रीका इंग्लैंड पकड़ लो और देख लो भाई, न्यूजीलैंड भी पकड़ लो और देख लो वो और देखो कंपैरिजन देखो. That's why I rate Lion higher. That's the only reason. That's just my opinion. Vinay would love to disagree with me like always, so he can if he wants, but that is the reason. If you just look at the stats in England, in South
But even in Sri Lanka, this guy is like equal to even a subcontinent nation है Sri Lanka, and I think Pakistan तो अश्विन गया नहीं, तो उसमें अपन बात नहीं कर सकते. The only place Ashwin is like probably killing it is in India.
And you see, Bangladesh also fails. Bangladesh, so bro, Lion man, he's right up.
सुनो 30 मैच ज्यादा खेला है, 30 मैच ज्यादा खेला है, तो विकेट भी उसकी ज्यादा होनी चाहिए ना.
हम उनकी लायन की गलती नहीं है, वो ओपनिंग बैट्समैन बना था.
नहीं, लायन की गलती नहीं बोल रहे, मैं कह रहा हूँ वो 30 इंडिया सी. अगर तुम देखो लायन के भी मेजर विकेट्स कहाँ हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, क्योंकि he has played more in Australia. When it comes to other subcontinent pitches, like England and stuff, Ashwin has played lesser series, and Lyon has played more series and stuff. So you don't know those 45 wickets कितने टेस्ट मैच में है. वो चेक किए तुमने, ये 18 विकेट्स कितने टेस्ट मैच में है.
Ashwin has gone to England a lot. He's been dropped quite a few times in England and South Africa.
Yeah, because the reason is, no, it's not about not being effective, because in those conditions you can play only one spinner and they need that extra batsman in that series. So that's why they prefer Jadeja in outside conditions and stuff. I understand. So when it comes to Australia, there's only one spinner that they always go with. Here, there's always a competition. In Indian pitches, you take Ashwin over Jadeja. But in any subcontinent pitches, you take Ashwin over Jadeja because those are turning pitches. When it comes to England and stuff, because they're not that much turner, that's why Jadeja is preferred, as well as his batting as well. So
okay, but But even when Ashwin is
T20 World Cup में अश्विन को खिलाया भाई. Ashwin is
but
always going to
भैया
get in that
अभी
spot
टेस्ट मैच की
experience.
बातें चल रही, T20
नहीं
वर्ल्ड कप
देखो
की बातें ना
मेरी
करो.
बात सुनो मगर मेरे हिसाब से
आपका पॉइंट क्या था, सब कॉन्टिनेंट वर्सेस इंग्लैंड का बोल रहा हूँ मैं, वो पॉइंट पे बोल रहा हूँ कि भाई इवन इन दोस सिचुएशंस ही इज प्रेफर्ड. ये नहीं है कि भाई ही विल बी ड्रॉप्ड बिकॉज़ बैटिंग ऑप्शन भी लाता हूं, इफ यू लुक एट इट दैट वे एज वेल. बट
विनय
ओवरऑल
विनय
पिक्चर, या
तुम देखो जब उसको चांस मिलता अश्विन को जब चांस मिलता ही इज नॉट एज इफेक्टिव. ओनली वन सीरीज वेयर ही इम्प्रेस्ड मी ओवरसीज वाज द लास्ट ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज.
लास्ट वन,
That's
या
again my point of view. You don't need to agree with it, but if you look at the other series, Lions actually when they both played in England, right? For example, when you've seen Ashwin bowl in England, you've seen Lyon bowl in England. You tell me, who do you think was more effective? I think it was Lyon.
I'm not disagreeing from the fact that Lion is much better in other conditions and stuff. I'm not disagreeing with that fact, but don't compare the number of wickets without seeing how many matches they've both played.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so you want to see the per denomination per country वो टेस्ट मैच में कितने खेले,
Yeah,
right?
कितने टेस्ट, because those test match this thing, अभी बांग्लादेश में तुम देख लो, like 12 wickets है. Is it in 20 games? Is it in 5 games? Is it in 10 games? That's a big denominator, right?
अच्छा,
And Lion के जो
अगर आप
22
बेसिक
wickets है.
निकाले, अगर आप एक बेसिक भी ले रहे, 5-4 मैचेस भी ले रहे, तो
अच्छा,
भी उसके
let me
हिसाब से
ask
अगर
you
आप
this way. वो जो Lion के बांग्लादेश के विकेट्स है 22, if he picked that in 20 matches and ये Ashwin he picked in 6 matches 12 wickets, who's better?
Lion.
Ashwin.
How's Lion better if he's picking that in
I'm
20 matches and stuff?
Yeah,
I
I agree with
understand
you.
your point.
But my opinion is based on my eye test, like what I've seen, how Lion is bowled in these conditions, especially the Senna countries compared to Ashwin. Like just from eye test, I'm not even looking at the wickets. Just like if you look at them bowling, I just feel Lion is a bigger threat in all conditions compared to Ashwin.
भाई
And
उन्हें रोड पे भी विकेट लिया, पाकिस्तान में भी लिया, यूएई में भी लिया.
it's not a big difference, Vinay.
पाकिस्तान और यूएई में तो अश्विन खेला ही नहीं ना कभी. How can you compare?
वही तो बोलो, डर के नहीं खेला, माने के
डर के क्या नहीं खेला, डर के उसकी वजह से नहीं, गवर्नमेंट की वजह से डर के नहीं खेला.
Yeah, but वही है विनय, like
यूएई की गवर्नमेंट अच्छी है यार.
अगर तुम खाली like if you just take Ashwin's clips in these conditions whereas Lion's clips in these conditions, from that I'm saying I understand your point कि you want to see the number of matches, वो तो मैं नहीं argue कर रहा.
And see, Ashwin and Lyon are different bowlers, right? You can't compare. I understand both are off spinners, but they are different kind of bowlers. Lyon depends more on bounce, whereas Ashwin depends more on spin.
But you are going to compare them.
Yeah, of course you can compare them, but it's not fair to say that he's not, because India का system भी ये है कि outside condition में they only prefer one spinner. Unless it's a good turning pitch, they don't go with two bowlers. So उसमें he loses to Jadeja. He loses his place to Jadeja in that regard, because Jadeja again will get the bounce and everything, and he's more of a Lion kind of bowler at that regard.
हाँ जी, but yeah, I think
थोड़ी और मेहनत करके ट्राई करना टीम में रहने के लिए. नहीं मजाक करो, but yeah, इंडिया एक्चुअली बिग अपडेट यार. इंडिया वुमेन्स का वार्म अप मैच खत्म हो गया है, 44 रन से हार गए बच्चियां. 4 विकेट्स टू डार्सी ब्राउन, जबरदस्त स्पेल डाली, एंड अलीशा गार्डनर 2 विकेट डाली. बट या इंडिया हार गया वार्म अप में, लेकिन वार्म अप इंशाल्लाह बड़े टूर्नामेंट में
ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम की नेक्स्ट लेवल रहती. I think the only team who will beat them is India only if it happens, and maybe England, but this Australian team will always cause problems, man. मैगलैनिंग अभी भी खेल, इसका लास्ट T20 वर्ल्ड कप है शायद, नहीं विनय मैगलैनिंग का?
I think so, I'm not sure.
Bro, she's Ricky Ponting levels, man. The batting and captaincy, what a player. And their bowling as well, man. They have some Kirak bowling like Australia, sorry.
Yeah, the most beautiful woman is not in the team for Australia most of the times these days. She was the best all-rounder at one point.
Alyssa Perry?
Yep.
भाई याद रखो, तुम्हारे घर में भी एक वुमेन है, तुम्हारे घर में भी एक वुमेन है.
आज ऑफिस गई है तो मैं बोल सकता खुल के.
What was Sophie Ecclestone?
No, bro. Not even close.
Bro. But yeah, I think
Speaking,
if you look at it from Australia's point of view, like batting stack, bowling stack, Talia Magra stack, like she does both, like all rounder wise, she provides that balance as well. So
Yeah,
Australia
1-11 किराक बैटिंग करते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में.
खतरनाक है उन लोगों की. So like you need like a crazy Harmanpreet kind of innings, or you need like a Eccleston 5-4, or you need Heather Knight to go ham, or Nat Skiver to do something. But on their day, it's very difficult to beat Australia. You need like a moment of genius to defeat them. That's
The
what I feel.
only advantage India has is they're playing in India.
No, they're
The World
not.
Cup.
They're playing
They're
in
not playing in India.
no, this in South Africa, bro. South Africa.
It's in South Africa, but yeah,
That's why
India
India's gonna
हारे.
lift it. MS Dhoni is gonna come
Sorry,
for inspiration, bro.
so
India's gonna
India हारेगी because
under
जो
19 जीत गए
spinners
थे
है इंडिया
once.
में, जो spinners है इंडिया में वो लाइक यहाँ पे जैसे अंकल वगैरह कराते हैं ना, ऐसे छोड़ते, वैसे ही छोड़ते वो भी bowling वगैरह. तो I think it's not gonna turn that much and stuff. So I feel that India is in the back foot in terms of spinners because that's what they rely on. However, they need to be more adaptable, I think, and they need to change their approach a little bit more.
I think two of their fast bowlers have improved. Like they're bowling well. Even
Renuka,
yeah, Renuka and what's her name?
Pooja.
Pandey.
What about Pooja? Pooja
I don't know.
Vastrakar.
She's also there. Yeah, we saw her in the 50 over. I think she's also there. But Shikha Pandey
Yes,
played
yes.
today, I think, along with Renuka
He
Singh.
got
And
2
these guys
wickets, yeah.
played well. If you see in the Commonwealth Games, it was in England conditions. And as the tournament progressed, it slowed down a bit. It was assisting the spinners. But in the beginning of the tournament, these fast bowlers did a good job. On Australia themselves, they beat Australia in the group stages. So I'm confident. I think India can make it to the semis. But again, where I agree with you is that it's always going to be difficult to defeat Australia, even England to a certain extent. It won't be easy for India. But India for me is
47 मारे हुए इंग्लैंड आज.
भैया
हाँ,
एक और अंडरडॉग है जो हर आईसीसी
South Africa.
टूर्नामेंट में अंडरडॉग होती है, which is न्यूजीलैंड.
हाँ, न्यूजीलैंड. वो सोफी डिवाइन और क्या नाम है दूसरा? ओ माँ क्या मारते हैं यार, वो खतरनाक. सुजी बेट्स.
Susie Bates, yeah.
Crazy man. पकड़ के रख के देते हैं उन लोग.
Very underrated players. उनका नाम ही कोई नहीं लेता.
You think South Africa, because they're playing at home, have a chance? Because they did decently well in the 50 over World Cup. Their opening batter, what's her name? Voldemort. I forgot her name. But she was. Then Shabnam Ismail as well is a very good bowler, like excellent bowler. So they have some good.
Ismail वाले तो बोलोगे ही तुम. इस्माइल के लिए तो खानदानी खून आ जाता ना.
Vinay also rates Kash, मगर Vinay also rates Shabnam. So yeah, do you think South Africa have a good chance in this World Cup?
Definitely home conditions, home advantage. Plus last year I think जो player of the tournament था वो भी South Africa नहीं थी, कोई एक recent tournament में.
World Award वही तो है यार.
Exactly. So they should come out strong. It's their home court advantage. However, this Australian team is too big of a threat at this point. It's like those 99, 2003, 2007 era of Australia. वो वाला team लग रहा है ये वाला Australia का. So it will be very difficult. You know, the same 75, 79 West Indies team जो 83 में आके इंडिया से आ रही, वैसे ही कुछ होना होगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ.
Yeah, Australia वही है, like बहुत खतरनाक है, ऊपर से नीचे they're excellent. बहुत तगड़ी team. And England are also क्या बोलते हैं, so not dark horses, but they're underrated at times. They reached the final last time as well, so they do have very experienced players. And Heather Knight is an experienced captain, so I think they will do a good job. Sai bhai बोल रहे, I hope इस बार injuries ना हो last time BGT जैसा, नहीं तो बस वॉशी और शार्दुल लाना पड़ेगा रिजर्व से. वो मगर फायदा हुआ, उन लोग आके खतरनाक कर दिए थे. वो तुम लोग को याद है वो पार्टनरशिप वॉशिंगटन सुंदर ठाकुर के?
66 and 69.
Bro, I think that saved India the series, because that Sydney game was no, it was Gabba. Sorry, it was the Gabba only. It was a very important. अगर वो नहीं था तो like India would be chasing like 600 in the final innings.
फिर नहीं जीतने थे like 150 for what 6 था, वहां से 300 something लेके गए, लीड कट किया 49 runs का. That was very important. सेकंड इनिंग्स में विकेट कहाँ दे, पूरे विकेट गए थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया के. सिराज टुक अ फाइवर एंड रिमेंबर, बट
लास्ट विकेट उन लोग डिक्लेयर करे शायद ऑस्ट्रेलिया, मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा.
डिक्लेयर किया आई थिंक, मेरे को भी वही लग रहा.
मेरे को एक सवाल है दोनों से. I've been watching from 2001 the Border-Gavaskar. I don't know if you guys watched earlier, so if you have, you can put your input. But from 2001 to now, this is becoming probably the best rivalry in cricket, in Test cricket, India versus Australia. Of course, that Ashes 2005 we always remember. But for you guys, it's very tough. But what was your favorite India versus Australia series? Because it's not an easy one. There's been plenty of really good ones.
The
2007
Harbhajan series, man. 2001. The way they came back after the Mumbai defeat, innings defeat in Mumbai, team was very down. गांगुली लड़ा हरभजन के टीम में, राइट? इतने सारे कंट्रोवर्सीज हुए उस टाइम पे. एंड देन
लड़ा था मैनेजमेंट के साथ,
नहीं, सिलेक्टर्स के साथ. हरभजन wasn't actually picked for the test match. Right, he wasn't picked for the first test and stuff, and Ganguly said, "I'm not going to captain if you don't put Harbhajan in the team." Right, he's going to step down as captain and stuff. So that's how much he backed Harbhajan in that series. First test match, innings पिंडर की तरह मारा मैथ्यू एडन, 200 मारा, 600 they scored in the first inning.
पे आता है वो वाला सीरीज हरभजन पहला
Exactly. And then second test match कोलकाता में follow on लेके वहां से टेस्ट मैच लेके आके, and then the way they beat in the third test match Chennai, I think that series you can never beat, man.
Yeah.
In India.
एक है मेरे लिए वन है, वो भी लक्ष्मण का जो इनिंग्स था वो नेक्स्ट लेवल.
281 फिर 66, 281 66. ड्राविड को उसने ड्राविड की पोजीशन चेंज कर दी उसी एक सीरीज में. Dravid actually changed position. He played number 5. Lakshman played number 3. Right? He was just phenomenal in that series. Shane Warne को पिंडा खोल दिया. Shane Warne को एक विकेट नहीं मिला, परेशान कर दिया Shane Warne को.
No, I agree. Like for me personally, it was the Gabba because it was just away from home. I really like.
लेकिन वो टीम भी क्या थी? Reserves की टीम, इंडिया की B, C team. I understand.
Yeah,
like those two are the best memories.
Yeah, those two are probably the best for me. Is the Gabba because Vinim and you were with me at that time. Like it was lockdown and we were just watching. We were all like, "What the hell's happening?" This, that, and we kept losing the toss. We kept losing players.
Yeah, that was the worst.
Adelaide पे 36 all out.
And the other interesting part was हमारी teams बनती थी, fantasy teams.
कौन जीता उसमें वो series में?
तुम जीते थे last में. Maiden. ये पंटर सिर्फ मेडन के bowlers लेता था.
But yeah, for me it was just that whole story of like 36 all out, losing your captain going, losing your bowling, your whole bowling was gone. The last test match you had no Ashwin, you had no Bumrah, no Shami, nobody was there. And just the way they played Rishabh Pant, the way he batted, and Shubman Gill Pujara, that partnership was incredible as well. It was great. But
for you, I'm gonna ask both of you this question: top 3 innings in the entire Border-Gavaskar series.
In the Border-Gavaskar.
Well, I think for me, number 1 has to be VVS Lakshman, number 2 has to be Rahul Dravid, and then number 3 Rishabh Pant. But Dravid and Adelaide is probably number 4.
Adelaide, yeah.
That was also really.
Okay, I'm for you, Fez.
On the same line, because Lakshman का तो मेरे को बहुत पसंद था. If I'm again, Dravid का भी था.
I'm gonna do top 5. I'm gonna do top 5.
अरे नहीं top 3
मैं एक मैं तुम्हें अनएक्सपेक्टेड नाम भी दूंगा, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ. नहीं 3 में नहीं डाल सकता ना, 3 में वो आ ही नहीं सकता. First for me 281 Lakshman. Second Sachin Tendulkar 241.
जो कवर ड्राइव नहीं मारा,
बिल्कुल कवर ड्राइव नहीं मारा, जो कंट्रोल उस इनिंग्स में थी. It's a very underrated innings for me. Number 3 Rishabh Pant 91 Gabba. Number 4 Rahul Dravid 248. 160 I don't consider because that is more of a Lakshman innings than Dravid. Dravid just supported in that innings. So 248 single-handedly hitting in Adelaide. That was number 4. Number 5 Ajit Agarkar 100.
Oh yeah.
That was in Lord.
109.
No, he scored 100 in Australia also.
109 था ना?
I don't remember.
He scored 100 in Australia also. जैसे कूद के आया ना वो पूरे इनिंग, उससे पहले उस सीरीज से पहले हर इनिंग में उसके 0 थे. हर इनिंग में 0 थे उसके.
2003-4 बोल रहे विनय?
I think 2006-7 के आसपास था.
नहीं यार, अगर नहीं मारा सेंचुरी में,
अगर एक सेंचुरी मारा ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, चेक करो।
इंग्लैंड में मारा उन्हें वो,
इंग्लैंड में मारा, इसमें भी मारा, चेक करो।
प्लीज कैन समवन डबल चेक, मेरे को तो नहीं दिख रहा, मैं वही चेक कर रहा था। इंडिया वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया के टेस्ट मैचेस ऑलवेज फैसिनेटिंग, हर एक सेशन मैच बदल रहे हैं। अरे जुनैद भाई वालेकुम सलाम, थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। या मैन इट इज। और अगर 2017 जो लास्ट होम सीरीज हुआ था इंडिया में, वो भी भाई बचे इंडिया बेंगलोर में 180 डिफेंड करे थे, याद है? तो इट वाजंट लाइक अ जोक, इट वाज टफ गेम। हल्लक में आ गया था वो गेम, पे रांची का ड्रॉ हुआ, फिर धर्मशाला में विदाउट कोहली इंडिया वन। सौरभ की
धोनी का 200 ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट था,
कोहली का नहीं यार, वो
नहीं धोनी
हाँ 220 वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया। सौरभ की इनिंग्स भाई लोग, ऑस्ट्रेलिया फर्स्ट ड्रॉन टेस्ट, गिलक्रिस्ट हैड told only 2 enough to beat India. Yeah, Ganguly, I think you're talking about, was that the Gabba only, the first test in 2003 when he hit 100, Saurav Ganguly? I think so. It was a good inning. हाँ,
पर्थ में नहीं था पहला टेस्ट मैच?
नहीं आई थिंक गैबा में था।
यूजुअली गैबा लास्ट में, लाइक इधर बॉक्सिंग डे या लास्ट टेस्ट मैच होता है, पर्थ से शुरू करते हैं यूजुअली।
गैबा ही है।
विनय, मेरे को वो सीरीज बहुत पसंद आया। इट वाज वन ऑफ माय बेस्ट सीरीज, बट इट्स नॉट द बेस्ट, बट इट वाज वन ऑफ माय थिंग। इंडिया लॉस्ट 2-1 बट द साइमंड्स हरभजन वन, यो दैट वाज इनसेन, मंकी गेट।
उसी में तो सचिन ने 248 मारे, उसी में सचिन ने 248 मारे।
नहीं सचिन ने मारा 2003 में, 3-4 में
सेम सीरीज में सचिन ने 248 मारा, द्रविड़ ने भी 200 मारे, सेम सीरीज।
अच्छा नहीं यार, द्रविड़ 200 एडिलेड में 2003 में।
हाँ एडिलेड में उसने मारा, सचिन ने उसी सीरीज में।
मैं दूसरा सीरीज बोल रहा हूँ, 2008 वाला, मंकी गेट वाला
ना, उसी में मारे मेरे ख्याल से, चेक करो।
नहीं ठीक है, मगर वो सीरीज वो सीरीज जबरदस्त थी यार। इट वाज, एंड यू नो साइमंड्स वाज आउट ऑन लाइक 20 or 30, बकनर
खा गया, कितना खाया, आउट एज खाया, एलबीडब्ल्यू खाया, तब तो डीआरएस नहीं था, हल
उसका हाथ खुद डीआरएस था, इतना स्लो
भैया। वो गिलेस्पी वाला विकेट कैसे दिया वो सचिन को?
समझ में नहीं आया,
इतना ऊपर जा रहा है बॉल, गिलेस्पी वाला विकेट दे दिया, पहले मना करके फिर ऐसे निकाल दिया बकनर सचिन को।
विनय, सचिन का 200 जो था वो 2003 में था, नॉट द मंकी गेट सीरीज, इट वाज द राहुल द्रविड़ डबल 100। तो yeah man, that series I really liked, the 2008 one, it was crazy. And then the CB series to follow, Faz, if you remember,
प्रवीण कुमार क्या निकाला, प्रवीण कुमार हर गेम में 4-4 विकेट निकालता था, हर गेम में 4 विकेट। भैया वो वीबी सीरीज जो कोहली ने जिताया, वो वाला गेम श्रीलंका के अगेंस्ट, 320 in like 40 overs, तब तो रिकॉर्ड था वो।
मैं टोरंटो फर्स्ट ईयर में था वो टाइम पे, तो पढ़ाई लाइट लेके उसकी इनिंग देख रहा था, खतरनाक था वो।
खतरनाक इनिंग, मलिंगा को क्या चौके 24 रन मारा एक ओवर में, है चौके मारा।
But also what are you guys looking forward to in this series? I mean, let's just take a prediction, because today we're talking about the spinners, so let's take a prediction. Ashwin or Lyon, who's taking more wickets? Faz, you can go first.
Ashwin and the first test. Overall पूछ रहे हैं, खाली टेस्ट।
Overall bro।
Overall कहाँ है अपने? नागपुर में, अहमदाबाद में, धर्मशाला में है, दिल्ली में। I'll go with Lyon probably, because Dharamshala he could pick up a lot of wickets.
For me, Akshar Patel. He's going to pick more wickets than Ashwin, but Ashwin.
From these two,
Ashwin, I think.
You're going to go Ashwin. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe Agar might pick up more wickets than Lyon if he plays also. You never know. I mean, Akshar is a good shout. And also, Australia have not played Akshar, right? If I'm not mistaken. So it will be something new.
They haven't. Not in test matches.
He'll play, bro. I think the first test.
He has to play, bro. He has a phenomenal record in India, especially at this point. So he has to play. Yeah, he'll probably bowl in the power play. Starting में इसको शमी को रोक के they might even bring him starting में पहला ओवर अक्सर को दे दे. You never know.
Overall 20 to 22 wickets to Ashwin, 15 to 20 wickets to Lyon. Sheikh भाई बोले जबरदस्त अच्छा prediction.
But I disagree. मैं Lyon को around 10 wickets ही दूंगा. Because I don't think he's going to be that effective in terms of picking wickets. He'll be effective as a bowler, but not for picking wickets.
अगर 10 से ज्यादा ले तो जुनैद भाई के लिए बिरयानी रेडी रखो तुम. जुनैद भाई, अरे
जुनैद भाई जब भी कनाडा आए बिरयानी रेडी होगी।
टेस्ट मैच पावर प्लेयर कैसा, टेस्ट मैच पावर प्ले कैसा भाई?
पावर प्ले मतलब वो स्टार्टिंग के ओवर, उसको पावर प्ले वैसे ही बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन पावर प्ले नहीं है वो।
अच्छा,
तो क्या है, like how does it work?
तो there's no power play, there's no
nothing,
power play in
अच्छा,
टेस्ट मैच।
bro, in
टेस्ट
test
मैचेस में
matches
तुम्हें सर्कल में भी 1-2 प्लेयर भी नहीं
there's
रखना, सबको बाहर
no
रखो।
circle, there's no circle in a
There's
test
no,
match.
yeah, वही
there
सोच रहा हूँ मैं, हाँ,
there is a circle, but circle doesn't matter. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I mean, that's
you
what
don't
I
need
mean, no
to
one
put,
gonna,
you don't need to
वही,
put anyone there. I went to Hyderabad test match, India Bangladesh. वहाँ पे तो like there was like कहाँ पे भी रखो fielder, no
भैया
restriction.
अनकन्वेंशनल ऐसे ऐसे पोजीशंस निकलते हैं, वो नाम भी नहीं ले सकते, वैसा पोजीशंस
क्या
निकलते
बात है, अनकन्वेंशनल। जरूर भाई, क्या बोल रहे थे आप? जरूर जयपुर से कनाडा आ रहा हूँ। अरे माशाल्लाह, जयपुर में, आप जयपुर में खतरनाक शादी हो रही है वहाँ पे।
नहीं जैसलमेर में हो रही है, जैसलमेर में हो रही है, जयपुर में नहीं हो रही।
राजस्थान में नहीं है वो, जयपुर से करीब ही
राजस्थान में है, लेकिन बहुत दूर है,
जैसलमेर
5 घंटे की ट्रेन है।
अरे आई एम डाउन मैन, क्या जबरदस्त। शादी हुई नहीं हुई अभी?
हो जानी जो चाहिए थी, आज ही होनी थी।
मेरे तुम वायरल बयानी को फॉलो करो, ही इज योर रोल मॉडल ब्रो। ही इज द
भैया
झाड़ू।
उसको अभी करो, उसको वो क्या नाम है, वो जो अभी कौन सी मूवी थी, गोविंदा मेरा नाम मेरा, वो बंदे को फॉलो करो।
कौन सा?
वो बंदा
नाम
गया
मेरा?
होगा कियारा की शादी में।
विकी कौशल?
नहीं नहीं, दूसरा वो साइड चिक था ना उसका,
अच्छा,
वो जो मोटा सा बंदा जो इंश्योरेंस एजेंट था।
250 crores today was the marriage। भैया नहीं गया आप बिरयानी खाने? चले आना था वहां पे। But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss, or we can call it?
कोई अभी मालदीव्स
जॉन
गए, कोई अभी मालदीव्स गए हैं घूमने के लिए।
जोबर्ट सुपर किंग्स का चल रहा है मैच अभी इन द सिटी 20 between MI केप टाउन एंड जोबर्ट। 79 for 3 है, सैम करन 2 विकेट पिकअप कर चुका है।
खैर भाई तुम इतने सीरियस क्यों हो जाते हैं एकदम से? बहुत सीरियस हो जा रहे तुम।
मेरे को कभी चांद नवाब याद दिला देता। अच्छा, ऐसी टी20 में ये स्कोर है, ये चल रहा है अभी। बोलो, सॉरी, क्या बोल रहे थे?
सॉरी शो मस्ट गो ऑन। सॉरी फैज भाई बोलो। नहीं फैज भाई बोलो। अरे बुरा ना तो मानो रे, बुरा ना तो मानो।
79 for 3 डिप्लॉय मार दे रहा फैज, डिप्लॉय। मैथ्यू वेड का क्या स्ट्राइक रेट है बताओ?
देख लो आप इट्स
देखो, चेक करो, स्ट्राइक रेट चेक करो एक बार।
नहीं मालूम भाई, नहीं मालूम।
चेक करो
भाई, आप राजस्थान में वेजिटेरियन फूड है कहते, तो इसलिए उन्हें नहीं जाने वाले।
अरे वेजिटेबल बिरयानी भी जबरदस्त रहती, बट व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग इज
बेक्स ग्रिल बेबी, बेक्स ग्रिल। आप आए कनाडा आए, बेक्स ग्रिल में आपको वेज दम बिरयानी खिलाएंगे।
40 of
बिरयानी खाना चाह रहे हो, वेज वही बोल रहे हैं, हमें वेज के लिए नहीं आना।
भैया बेचारे वेजिटेरियन है तो वेज बिरयानी बोलना पड़ेगा। पुलाव बोलेंगे, पुलाव मान लेंगे।
1 लाख रुपए देके वेज खिलाएंगे। 1 लाख का टिकट देके वेज खिलाने जा रहे भाई।
हाँ फैज बोलो।
हो गया आप क्या बैक टू स्पिन में अक्सर कह देखो, उन्होंने भी इरिटेट होके बोल रहे भाई, बैक टू स्पिन में अक्सर गेट अ चांस because Jadeja is back.
They'll both play, I think.
They both should play.
I think they both will play. I would like Kuldeep there in the team. Lekin I think
will you go drop Shami and bring in Kuldeep Yadav?
That's if it's a rank turner, and only Rohit Sharma will have that.
Then four spinners and one fast bowler as Siraj or Shami at that point actually.
Shami, no, I think probably Shami you'll drop and you play Siraj, because Siraj is used to bowling the shorter spells and he won't mind if, like, you can give Shami rest for the Dharamshala game if it's like that. But then,
for me
you need Hardik Pandya, then you need Cameron Green, you need someone there if you're going to do that. I think that's what I feel.
Yeah, but for me in India, there might not be much swing. So in that regard, I will play Shami over Siraj because Shami has that extra pace.
Shami over Siraj because there's extra pace. Yeah, fair enough. But I don't think, unless it's going to turn like from ball one, I don't think they're going to go with that. But yes, it is a possibility. We won't rule it out. Today, Ravi Shastri made a statement, Fez, that the ball must turn from day one itself. What do you guys feel?
I think Dravid doesn't want that.
Fez bolo.
नो बट लाइक अगर आप ट्रेडिशनली इंडियन साइड अगर देख रहे हैं आप, दे विल ऑब्वियसली प्ले, अगर तीन स्पिनर खेले तो दे वुड वांट दैट, व्हाई वुडंट दे वांट दैट, दे वुड जितनी जल्दी निकालो आप उतनी जल्दी अच्छा। एंड इमेजिन हाउ ऑस्ट्रेलिया इज फीलिंग अभी इन लोगों का, जिस तरीके से हर हर प्लेयर, वार्नर उठा लो, स्मिथ बोल रहा हो, एंड कमिंस हिमसेल्फ इन द प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस वॉइस पर है कि भाई दिस इज बिगर देन द एशेज राइट नाउ फॉर देम, बिकॉज़ 16 इयर्स में नहीं जीते इंडिया पे, तो व्हाट वुड काउंटर अटैक वुड बी स्पिनिंग ट्रैक्स फॉर ऑस्ट्रेलिया, सो मे बी आई फील probably.
For me, with the current lot of spinners, 10 spinners that they are practicing with, I think they'll still prefer not so ranked turners because India is struggling a little bit with spin at this point. So, for me, I think their aim is to win the Test series so that they can play the Test championship. So they'll prepare pitches which are more suited for their kind of style play, which might not be ranked turners at this point.
मेरे लिए I think rank turners is a lottery. It's a lottery because they could go either way. But I would make rank turners just because I back Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar to go ham. That's the only reason. And what Vinay Singh is completely right. But then it's going to be a battle of like the bowlers who's going to get the wickets faster. And I just feel that Ashwin, Jadeja, Akshar will get the wickets faster. If you remember in Ahmedabad, even there India were collapsing very quickly. But then Akshar was coming and having England like 10 for 6, 10 for 7. It was like those kind of scores, football scores. So in that way, I think that I'm fine with the rank turners, lottery karo, and I have a lot of confidence in India spinners in that thing. It will backfire. It can backfire in Pune. It did backfire against India. But overall, if you just make 4 rank turners, you'll eventually win 3-1 because you need to win 3-0 or 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Without
2-0 can also get them.
But you have
2-0
to
will not.
if it's 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing, and I think that's the best way to go there. But
So, sorry, one last question before I think we're gonna wrap up. So, top 3 bowling performance in the Border-Gavaskar.
I have to think
Top
about that.
three.
Harbhajan ka ek hai, that's probably right up there.
1 and
for
2 Harbhajan for me.
me, one, yeah, Harbhajan, the Gillespie ka ek zabar, the 2004 mein spell tha bhai.
8 या 6 विकेट्स लिया था।
That was for me the number 2 because fast bowler in India to do it like that, वो भी Gillespie मगरा समझ में आता, but Gillespie bro very underrated.
वो आई थिंक वही वाला सीरीज उन्होंने हेडबैंड पहना था, आई थिंक वही था ना।
Yeah, 2004 वाली थी वो जो जीते थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया. He played both, I think, 2001 and 4, but it was the 4 one. So I would go Gillespie second, and then third one. Yo, that's a tough call, bro. Like it might have to be who the 36 all out वो ping ball के साथ वो Cummins Hazelwood का जो भी spell था, like that might be for me. But yeah, Vinay, Faiz, you can go.
Faiz, you first.
नहीं आप बोलो मैंने वाले।
अरे मैं भूल गया भाई, मैं भूल गया ये spell.
ये मेरा second था. Number 2. First Harbhajan spell, hat-trick wala series. Second was Ishan Sharma. Third was Jason Kreja.
वो भी जबरदस्त spell था Jason Kreja.
8 for 215 जो लिया था हमने।
Yeah, that one.
बट उसके बाद उन्हें एक मैच नहीं खेला, उसके बाद
वो नहीं खेला, बट वो अकेला एक ही बंदा बार बार ले जा रहा विकेट, और 600 रन भी खाए ऑस्ट्रेलिया उस टेस्ट मैच में, बट एक ही बंदा लगा हुआ. He was unlucky also a few times, but that spell coming as an unknown in Indian condition and bowling that kind of spell with McGrath, Gillespie, Brett Lee, everyone in the ranks, I think that was a special bowling performance by him.
Yeah. I think Ishant, I'll put him at 3 now that I remembered this. Number 2 has to be for me Gillespie, just because in Indian conditions they won the series also, and he bowled really well. So yeah, I'll go Gillespie. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
फैज भाई का आया नहीं टॉप 3?
हाँ फैज बोलिए।
बोलने का है जी, पूरे बोल दिए।
अरे तुम फैज भाई तुम अपना ओपिनियन दो भाई।
मैं अलग बोला, मैंने अलग बोला, तो यू कैन से।
या मेरे को ज्यादा याद नहीं है, so I don't want to like say anything inaccurate, तो but yeah।
अरे तुम बोल दो, तुम सिराज बोलो भाई, तुम सिराज बोलो, हम मानते थे सिराज को।
नहीं खैर probably another time दूंगा मैं अपना predictions hopefully, but आज थोड़ा off है दिमाग, तो yeah definitely probably wraps it up. If there's anything you guys want to discuss, hopefully.
No, I think that's good for today. Tomorrow we'll have the, I think the batsman's battle, Faiz.
The big battle, hopefully. Yeah, opening batsman hoga mostly, I think, tomorrow. Between the opening batsman, who do we feel is going to be more destructive?
Let's do. We'll decide tonight, but let's do maybe the other battle because we just have now 2-3 days left. So yeah, we'll do a batters battle maybe.
3 days. Yes, yeah.
3 days. 9th को first test match.
9th को मगर पर 2 दिन.
Or maybe we could do like all of them together. Let's see. We'll probably do all the batsmen tomorrow. Let's see what.
Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Faiz, thank you so much for joining me. Vinay, thank you so much for joining me. And with this last comment on a positive note, thank you so much for this comment. Yep, nice and informative talk. We really appreciate it. And make sure you like and subscribe and send this to your friends and family. I asked Vinay to do this as well. I don't know if he's done it yet, but we will catch you guys tomorrow. Until then, everyone, have a good night and see you tomorrow. All eyes on India versus Australia.